Is Ukraine about to lose the city of Mariupol in the Azov Sea? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. The answer is very likely yes. Mariupol is about to fall. The Ukrainians have given up and just want their fighters back. We're going to share the latest from witnesses on the ground and also talk about the latest diplomatic news and the clearest sign that Russia is becoming that civilizational state that my good friend Stephen Turley likes to talk about. I also have a link to a map of Ukraine showing who controls what. The proportions might surprise you. Before I begin, I want to shout out to the sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views, link in the description. And be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. Lots of good merchandise there, including this t-shirt, the Trumpinator, saying, "I'll be back." And a good shout out to Kathy Barnett, running for the Senate in the primary in Pennsylvania. While we're at it, I also want to shout out to another sponsor, BitNext. This is your replacement for Zoom, Slack, the Google G Suite, Microsoft Office 365, Dropbox, WeTransfer, and Chili Piper, among others. Unlike any of them, BitNext protects your content and conversations so well even the administrators can't see it. So this is your channel for secure comms, conferencing, cloud storage, and file sharing. Best of all, everything is back-end, so you don't even need client software. If you have a browser, you can use BitNext. Follow the link and give them a try. 28 days free of charge. Can't beat that with a stick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the G2 briefing will now begin. The biggest news from the Ukraine theater comes from Al Jazeera, the Hindustan Times, and National Public Radio. All these sources report that Russia is now taking custody of more than 260 Ukrainian fighters. The sources don't say specifically who these are, but they probably are from the Azov Battalion or Azov Regiment. This particular force has been sheltering in the Azov Steelworks, or Azovstal in Ukrainian. They took shelter there weeks ago. Reuters has witnesses on the ground seeing buses carrying these soldiers to Novoazovsk, an area under Russian separatist control. These particular soldiers are wounded. Very likely all will go back to Ukraine in exchange for Russian prisoners Ukraine now holds. The Hindustan Times quotes Ukrainian officials as saying Ukraine is giving up Mariupol. Now Ukraine only wants all its soldiers out of the city and the steelworks. The Ukrainians claim that they are gaining ground in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city. That city sits on the border with Lugansk, one of two breakaway republics in eastern Ukraine. Russia now controls or is operating in most of Donetsk and Lugansk, all of Crimea, and a significant land bridge between those regions. Al Jazeera has the best map showing these regions of control. I have a link in the description that will take you directly to that map, and it's really something. When you look at it, you have to wonder, is that all Russia is holding on to? Well, that's all they ever wanted. Now, the Ukrainians claim to be running counteroffensives around Kharkiv and in the southern part of the Russian control zone. That includes a claim to a region with Russian-controlled territory all around it. An island of blue and a sea of red. You want to know what that really is? That's a cauldron, with Russian forces trying to starve some Ukrainian units into surrender. It is how the Russian army does things. In other news, Russia fired several missiles into Lviv, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, near the Polish border. Al Jazeera tells us the Russians are destroying some of those American and European arms shipments we keep hearing about. Senators, take note. All that $40 billion worth of equipment you think you're sending to Ukraine is going to get blown up. You might as well vote no. Finland and Sweden have definitely applied to join NATO. The Russians are making things difficult for Finland. It seems Finland gets its electricity from Russia, or they did. The Russians are switching that off. They also have expelled 2 Finnish diplomats. Furthermore, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey is recommending that NATO not admit Finland or Sweden. McDonald's is selling off all its fast food joints in Russia to a Russian buyer. Workers are now taking down the trademark golden arches and stripping away all of McDonald's branding. nor apparently is McDonald's the only American business to leave Russia. Now, you may regard that as part of Russia asserting itself as a civilizational state. Such a state does not take part in anyone else's system. For that reason, ordinary Russians might not miss the businesses now leaving it. Now, I have covered the American posture toward Ukraine and carried Darrell L. Castle's warning that this administration seems to want war with Russia. Well, Ukraine is going to lose Mariupol. They know it, and Russia is getting all it ever wanted in this special operation. Go look at Al Jazeera's map. You'll see that the sensible policy is to accept Russian control in and of Crimea and the Donbass and move on. Links in the description of the article, to the map from Al Jazeera, and to conservative news and views. I have another link to the awesome online store and to BitNext, as I mentioned. And if you like what you've heard, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel. This is Terry A. Hurlbut, delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.